We have a pond, and we brought in engineers to look at it to see if we could make some alterations and deal with some problems we have. And they said, it's going to be almost impossible unless you want to spend a ton of money, because where are you going to put the muck? Draining the swamp is not easy, but President-elect Trump has set out to do it. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. Draining the swamp. It is not easy. We were talking off the air about what Mr. Trump is setting out to do, to reinvent Washington, D.C. That's really not true. Jeremiah the prophet said, God spoke to Jeremiah and said, I have set you over nations to pluck down, overthrow, uproot, and destroy. Okay? And then to build and to plant. So before God was going to let Jeremiah build and plant, he said, you've got to just wipe out what's there. And that's no small task. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the video that President-elect Trump released a couple days ago and let him speak for himself. Now, if you saw it yesterday, it's okay. It's worth watching a second time because this has people going nuts. Foreign leaders are watching this 2.5-minute clip. They're discussing with their advisors every syllable. American political activists, lobbyists inside of D.C. are coming unhinged at some of the things that he said. He said a few words, and it's like a neutron bomb in each of the fields. It's a big deal, people. It's a big deal. And, well, let's just play it. Watch this and think how it impacts each of the areas that he is addressing.
Today, I would like to provide the American people with an update on the White House transition and our policy plans for the first 100 days. Our transition team is working very smoothly, efficiently, and effectively. Truly great and talented men and women, patriots indeed, are being brought in, and many will soon be a part of our government, helping us to make America great again. My agenda will be based on a simple core principle: putting America first. Whether it's producing steel, building cars, or curing disease, I want the next generation of production and innovation to happen right here on our great homeland, America, creating wealth and jobs for American workers. As part of this plan, I've asked my transition team to develop a list of executive actions we can take on day one to restore our laws and bring back our jobs. It's about time. These include the following. On trade, I am going to issue our notification of intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a potential disaster for our country. Instead, we will negotiate fair bilateral trade deals that bring jobs and industry back onto American shores. On energy, I will cancel job-killing restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale energy and clean coal, creating many millions of high-paying jobs. That's what we want. That's what we've been waiting for. On regulation, I will formulate a rule which says that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. So important. On national security, I will ask the Department of Defense and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to develop a comprehensive plan to protect America's vital infrastructure from cyber attacks and all other form of attacks. On immigration, I will direct the Department of Labor to investigate all abuses of visa programs that undercut the American worker. On ethics reform, as part of our plan to drain the swamp, we will impose a 5-year ban on executive officials becoming lobbyists after they leave the administration, and a lifetime ban on executive officials lobbying on behalf of a foreign government. These are just a few of the steps we will take to reform Washington and rebuild our middle class. I will provide more updates in the coming days as we work together to make America great again for everyone, and I mean everyone.
All right. A ban, a lifetime ban. If you worked in the federal government, a lifetime ban on lobbying for foreign governments. Do you know how many people have worked for prior administrations that are now multi-millionaires? Because they had access. Do you understand that's where real money is made? When these guys leave, all right, you serve faithfully in whatever capacity, in Congress, in the executive branch, wherever, or you serve, and then you get out. Well, why do you think that they offer a former member of Congress or a former U.S. Senator multi-million-dollar packages when they leave Congress? Because they become what are known as rainmakers. What that means is, because they know who the players are in D.C., they provide access, and these people enrich themselves, these former employees or former elected officials enrich themselves based upon their contacts. That is part of what Trump said he's going after when he drains the swamp. I've got to take a break. I'll be right back. Don't go away. If you own a business and would like to advertise on our program, please contact us. We are currently seen on over 130 television stations from coast to coast. We air at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then all times are local. We have a lot of reach, friend, and this is an opportunity at a great price for you to get your product or your service in front of hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people. Also, if there's something that's important to you and you'd like to have a month where you just say thank you to this ministry or promote a certain ministry or a certain cause, contact us. Our rates are incredibly affordable. You'd be surprised. And you, again, can reach into hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of homes. We're currently seen possibly in over 30 million homes. So give us a call, give us an email, and we'll put a commercial up for you. I'm Randall Terry. Welcome to the program. We had an office in Washington, D.C. in the late 80s, early 90s. I would come and go to Washington regularly. Then in the mid-early 2000s, I think 2008 to 2011, we decided we would move our family there and our entire staff. And we lived and we worked inside the Beltway, okay? So I'm not discussing things that go on in Washington, D.C., as somebody who has spent his entire life in the Midwest. I love the Midwest, and I think it's the heart and soul of America at many levels. But we were there. We were in the swamp that Trump is talking about. We were there. I saw it with my own eyes. We would go to Capitol Hill once, twice a week. Now, I'm not what's called a paid lobbyist, but we would go there and we would see them. We would torment them. We would torment some of the staff. Because they're, and I'm saying this in a political, so, plug the ears of any small children in the room or turn them away, but they're political pimps and whores. They're political pimps, whores, and whoremongers. There's buyers, there's users, there's sellers, but not all of them, but most of them, that's what they are. They make exorbitant sums of money. How do you think that Washington, D.C., and the entire Northern Virginia, Southern Maryland area, how do you think it was insulated when the housing market crashed? Think about it. It's because the lobbyists who are making well into 6 digits, and there's thousands and thousands of them there now, the lobbyists and the federal government employees and the employees of the contractors of the federal government, they didn't see any downturn. Their wages didn't go down. And hence the real estate market there didn't collapse. There was no change in the influx and outgo of money or outflow of money. And why is it that you think that Virginia, that was a stalwart Republican stronghold for a long time for presidential elections, why do you think it's recently been going so far into the Democrat camp? Lobbyists. The swamp livers, those who live in the swamp, make their money from the swamp, drink pond water and pond scum with relish, because it's the hors d'oeuvres and it's the liquor and it's the wine and it's the parties and the dances and the music and the access and the wanton debauchery that exists in that town. So when President-elect Trump says that he's going to drain the swamp, Henry Kissinger the other day, I believe it was Sunday, did an interview with a journalist on CNN. And he said something really interesting. I saw most of the interview. He said that, in essence, he said that Trump doesn't owe anyone anything. He comes unattached. He didn't have big money put him in there. He doesn't have a long list of political due bills. Negotiations that he made, like Harry Reid and Mitch McConnell, get along most of the time. He's got none of that to tether him, to entrap him, to tie him up. Politically, he's a free man. And that is what has everyone terrified. So what he's doing is he is shaking, as far as, I would say shaking to its core, shaking to its foundation, Washington. I don't think that that's necessarily true, but we'll see. But by releasing that video that he did, the 2.5 minutes, talking about what he intends to do with energy independence, with the Trans-Pacific Partnership, with unilateral or bilateral trade agreements, with draining the swamp, with ethics reform, he's got people flipping out. Now, there's a level of genius to what he just is talking about right now. And here's what it is. If I was advising him, I would say, do not put forth a Supreme Court justice name. Don't do it. Let the opposition burn itself out with energy independence, with the Southern Wall. Start with energy. Because he's going to get opposition. The media is trying to figure out a way to just start attacking him, and he won't give them access. He won't even get in the ring with them. Or if he does, he says, well, come to my office. We'll sit down. We'll have an off-the-record meeting. That's not the ring where the public can watch. That's his locker room, where he dressed them down and pummeled them and said, I am in a room full of liars. And he said it repeatedly. I am in a room full of liars. CNN, you're a network of liars, and you should be ashamed. Now, do you understand? Presidents don't do this. Ronald Reagan would tease Sam Donaldson. Oh, Sam, there you go again. Saying Sam was lying. But Trump realizes, Mr. Trump, I apologize, President-elect Trump realizes that the media are part of the problem. They are part of the structural continuity of evil, of deceit, of oppression. When you see these media idiots get behind stopping the Keystone Pipeline or drilling in Anwar or fracking, these media people are just falling in line with a left-wing agenda. And it's not because they're intelligent. It's because they're stupid. And it's not because they're patriotic, it's because they're unpatriotic. Because the marionettes that pay for these, or rather the puppeteers who pay for these sumptuous feasts and their lifestyles are telling them, well, it's really not in America's interest to destabilize the world, and we need a strong and independent Middle East, and by buying oil from them, we actually can suppress Islamic terrorism because at least they've got jobs due to American oil, and America has a good relationship with oil. And they actually concoct these asinine arguments that our subservience to Middle Eastern oil is in our interest. That's like saying to a group of black people on a plantation, it's really in your interest to stay here. The massa has food for you. The massa has clothing for you. The massa has a roof over your head. What are you going to do if you're free? You're going to starve. You're going to be without clothes. You're going to be without a house. If you look for freedom, you're going to die. I'd rather take my chances as a half-starved free man than a well-fed slave. Friend, this program is supported by friends like you who believe in what we are doing. We run a very tight ship. Thankfully, we are on over 130 stations across the country, having tremendous impact. We get emails every day. We get letters in the mail, not every day, but almost every day. We hear from people who love what we're doing. What people don't understand is that it's sort of expensive to produce a television show like this. It doesn't require earth-shattering funds, but it does require financial help. So I am asking you, if you enjoy this program, throw us a $10 or a $20 bill every once in a while, or even a $50 or a $100 check. You see the address there on the screen. Your gifts are not tax deductible, by the way, because we want to be able to say what we want to say regarding politics without the IRS telling us no. So if you like the program, I ask for your support. Friend, I ask for your prayers because next week, after Thanksgiving weekend, we're going to hit the ground running with End the Filibuster. End the Filibuster. In chess, the end game is to capture the king. Usually to do that, you have to capture the queen. So you know what the end game is going to be. And you know where your opponent's strongholds are going to be. The end game, where we are headed, where we must be headed, where we are inevitably headed, is a showdown in the U.S. Senate and the obstructionism of the Democrat Party led by Charles Schumer, formerly led by Harry Reid. Harry Reid laid out the agenda of how they intended, if they took the Senate back in this election cycle, how they intended to end the filibuster rule. He said it. A very detailed record. He said that the system is arcane, it's old, and that it inhibits Washington and the Senate from working. And he was right. So the problem is going to be Mitch McConnell. And when Harry Reid used the so-called nuclear option, and when he changed a large portion of the filibuster rules in 2013, Mitch McConnell was devastated because of the long history of the House. The filibuster rule in the Senate, filibuster means pirate. It comes from the root word that means pirate. The filibuster rule, which is almost 200 years old, or the filibuster process is almost 200 years old. The rules have changed, but it was there so that people could be heard. Okay? It's not a part of our law. It's not a part of the Constitution. In fact, the Supreme Court ruled once that the Senate can change the filibuster rule. It's totally within its constitutional right to do it. It's just a Senate rule. That's where this fight is headed. Because if you look at that 2.5-minute video that we played earlier of President-elect Trump, and you look at the 28 promises that he made to the American people, if you look at the defunding of Planned Parenthood, replacing Justice Scalia with judges that are cut from the cloth of that integrity, Chuck Schumer and the Democrat, these demonic or satanic, I shouldn't say satanic and demonic, I should say evil, these quintessentially evil human beings who dress well and who are articulate and who smile. Always remember that. A tyrant can smile and look warm and fuzzy. These tyrants are going to do everything in their power to derail President Trump's agenda in the Senate. And it will be up to Mitch McConnell to say the honor and the history of the Senate are not as important as justice and liberty. And if you hear Mitch McConnell blather on or speak about the history of the Senate, the honor of the Senate, the traditions of the Senate, the time-honored traditions of the Senate, you need to say to him, sir, when the history of the Senate is overthrowing liberty and justice and truth and integrity, then the Senate is no longer honorable. The rules of the Senate have become the tools of evil, and you need to change the rules. You need to end the filibuster rules as they are now. So after Thanksgiving weekend, we're going to hit the ground running, and I need your prayers because we're going to be a part of this fight, and you are too. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we'll show you a clip of episode 1 of our new documentary, What Would Muhammad Do? Don't go away. I want to invite you to go to our website. Almost every book that I have ever written is available as a PDF online for free. We have a ton of products, training materials, tools that are available for you for free. All we ask for is that you give us your email address. That's it, so that we can stay in touch with you, and yes, from time to time, ask you to support this work. So I'm inviting you, go to the website. Now, for those of you who say, well, I don't want a PDF, I want a real book. You can get one of my books. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling, and then give whatever gift you want. And if you can't afford anything, we'll send you the book for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Why are we doing all this? Because we want to change the direction of the country, and we need to raise up a fresh generation of warriors to do that. That's why we have this tool. I invite you, go to the website, see for yourself. Welcome back, friend. I'm Randall Terry. We recently finished, after 2 years of production, a serial documentary called What Would Muhammad Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained. Here is a short clip from episode 1.
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. Its teachings are good and peaceful. And those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
Islam is a religion of peace. They are not Muslims, they are monsters.
At the same time, we have reaffirmed again and again that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. Islam teaches peace.
No, we are at war. And if we hope to be victorious, we must know our enemy, Muslim terrorists. Whether it's ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Muslim Brotherhood, or so-called lone wolves, devout Muslim terrorists are spreading terror and death in our communities worldwide. We're at war with them because they have declared war on us. They've declared war on us based on an ancient Islamic narrative or storyline, which is foundational in Muslim philosophy, theology, and law: the caliphate. Caliph, or khalifa, is an Arabic word that means successor. They want one Muslim nation under one Muslim leader, succeeded by another, then another. This mission, having one successor or caliph leading one huge Muslim nation, is at the heart and soul of Islamic ideology and dates back to the first generation of Muslims. Muslim terrorists around the world will continue to attack us in pursuit of that goal. In addition to that, they've sworn an oath to Allah to convert us, or enslave us, or kill us. This too is part of their ideology, also dating back to the first generation of Muslims. Muslim terrorists see themselves inside a storyline that is 1,400 years old. So to have the best chance of protecting ourselves and defeating Islamic terrorists, we must also look inside that story. Only then can we hope to understand them and what they think. Winston Churchill gives us a time-honored example of what we should do: study our enemy. Long before Adolf Hitler came to power, Churchill read everything about Hitler he could get his hands on, every interview, every tirade, and most importantly, Churchill studied the book that Adolf Hitler wrote, Mein Kampf, which Friend, I encourage you, go to our website and order your own set. It's 4 DVDs, 8 hours of material. This is like a small college education regarding Islam and Islamic terrorism. I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Set your DVR to record tomorrow's program because we've got a special on Thanksgiving. I don't want you to watch it at night. I want you to be with your family, but record it so that you can watch it. God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving.